Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Melisa Rodriguez for those of you that don't know me. Now I'm an incoming third year medical student. So it's been a long time since I don't film anything or sit down to talk to the camera. So it's a little weird to start back again, but I wanted to start making more videos and like taking you through my journey more, especially now that I'm starting clinicals. But in today's video, I just wanted to share my current situation and also mostly share ways on how to deal with stress and the burnout that happens when you're studying for such a huge exam like the USMLE Step 1. And you guys know my last two videos was basically footage of my whole experience studying for this exam and how I felt. So if you're interested in that raw content, just go to my two previous videos and you will see it. But today is more like kind of a reflection of what I've been thinking and what I've been doing. So yeah, if you're interested in this kind of subject, just keep watching. Okay, so I just wanted to start this video by just acknowledging the struggle that there is when we're studying for a very meaningful exam, something that we need to, kind of pass through or overcome in order to continue our career. Only by knowing that, it already brings a lot of pressure. And I know that it's better now that it's pass fail, but studying for it, you realize that it's still a very hard exam to even pass. And it's an exam that encompasses many things. So we need to know about everything that we've learned basically since first day of medical school. So that's the challenging part, like kind of continuing and knowing that something is going to be in front of your face that is going to determine the rest of the year or the rest of your journey through medical school. So yeah, so it all starts with before dedicated, right? The plan that you make for dedicated depends on the background that you have or the level of knowledge that you've gathered since the beginning, or maybe since that second year started. And for example, if you started doing UWorld questions, let's say like starting in the summer, and now you feel a little bit more prepared to even do it earlier and not by the deadline that the school makes you take it by. So kind of differs person by person. In my experience, I wanted to do like my 100%, even though I just needed to pass. I wanted to prepare as if I was taking the exam with a number, because I wanted to just feel confident going in and knowing that I was gonna pass and knowing, that I put my 100%. I just wanted to know within me that I did my best to pass and that I know as much as I could know for this exam. But yeah, people do it different ways. I recommend you to think this way because this is not our last exam, right? We have to know some of this information for our patients. I know not all of it, and probably some of the biochemistry that I studied I will never need for taking care of patients, but some of the information we actually do use in the clinic. And I have noticed this past few weeks that I have been in the clinic that some of the knowledge I studied in dedicated was relevant. So just keeping your mind focused in the fact that this is just another bump, just like the MCAT, right? So we need to like pass this bump in the path, but this exam is much more relevant than the MCAT. So if that helps you a little bit, it is more meaningful in our career, in our profession as future doctors. So that's that. But another thing is that through dedicated, we need to know that we're gonna worry. So I myself had a bunch of breakdowns later at night when I ended my night without having finished everything that I needed to finish for that day or for that week, and I just didn't feel prepared enough, and I felt overwhelmed by the amount of information. And I felt like I was pretty prepared going into dedicated because I didn't do as many questions beforehand, but I was really trying to pay attention in my curriculum in medical school to learn as much as possible so that I wasn't as uncomfortable during STEP. And I actually started cardio and neuro review before dedicated review, in terms of like studying for an exam. And right before dedicated, we had very difficult topics like immuno, rheumatology. We had hematologic diseases and cancer that are really high yield. So I felt like I was a little bit prepared, but that I still needed to do a lot in those few weeks that I had. So I had a total of 5 weeks. And I did a plan, but that plan changed every week a little bit, in the sense that I did finish all of the practice exams that I needed to do, but what I was covering each week depended on how comfortable I was feeling. Like the last 2 weeks was a lot of rearrangements on what was best for me in terms of what I felt less comfortable with. But the first 3 weeks I did plan them in a way that I felt like I wasn't gonna get bored, right? Because my fear was getting bored of studying, and once I feel like discouraged like that, I won't want to just sit in the chair again and study for the rest of the day, because you basically study every day, 8 to 10 hours. Most people, you know, like that's just my experience, but I feel like that's similar for a lot of people. So I planned to do 2 topics a day so that I didn't get bored of studying only one topic every day. So let's say I will do things that were a little bit similar, like for example, I was doing pulm and cardio, or repro and endo, which have a lot of things in common that you can kind of relate. And I was doing a lot of integration, and I'm gonna cover really quick in this video what were my top 5 resources for USMLE. And yes, I said 5. It's not too many, it's not too little, right? Because you don't want too little in the sense that you're gonna get bored of those only 2 resources, let's say, or you're doing only questions and doing, let's say, Boards and Beyond and questions only, then you might get bored, you know. But I was doing 5 because all of those 5 were essential for those topics, and it kept me engaged in what I was studying, and not only one person that I was listening to. So it was more kind of dynamic, so that I didn't lose engagement. And for me, it was also important, I know I'm gonna talk a lot about this, I talk about this in almost all my videos, but it's important to do something along those days that is not studying. For me, it was workout. I worked out pretty much every day or every other day when I was studying for a STEP, because it gave me some time to take off, to just kind of reset. And then I showered and I was ready for a new studying session, instead of just being one very long dreading kind of session that lasted the whole day. I had 2 sessions. I had my morning session, then I work out, then I shower, I talk a little bit with my parents, and another afternoon or night studying session. I divided it that way because, yeah, it made my days go by faster, but it also made my days more productive. Yeah, my eating wasn't as good, so you guys should, you know, maybe plan meals or do something that will work best for you. But in my experience, I was just eating everything I could find to just keep, you know, some energy through this process. I would have done that differently. I would have chosen better options. I just didn't have the prep work to do that. I had prep work for school, but I didn't have prep work for my eating habit. Another thing is the emotional aspect of taking this exam. It's going to be 5 rough weeks, right? Maybe the first or 2 you feel with this surge of energy because you just started to study for dedicated, so you're fine. But then the 3rd week is normal, at least for me, to feel like you can't do this anymore. I don't want to study anymore. Even if I feel excited about studying for medicine or whatever, it just takes a toll on you that you can't do anything else. You're time goes by super fast. You're overwhelmed, not reaching the goals that you wanted to reach. And at that time, I think what helped me the most was letting my feelings happen as they are, cry if I need to cry, go to sleep earlier if I need to, take the afternoon off if you need to, have someone that you could talk to and you spend some time talking to them, 30-40 minutes, and let your feelings out. And I feel like that helps. You know, just accepting that you're gonna feel that way and going forward. You know, if you need to take a day off, take a day off. It's more important to have a day that your mental state is good, not great but good, than having a day that your mental state is low and you just end up doing just 2 things, you know, or 2 topics or whatever. So it's better to just take a day off and have the rest of the week being better or more refreshed. That's what I have to say about that part. I think everybody copes with it differently. I use a lot of music. I use my workouts. I use my family a lot. Well, I reach out to my family a lot when I feel this way. You know, complain a lot, have someone to complain. And I think watching videos of other people, like the one that I just posted, for example, or I was watching people that already took it or that were taking it along with me, and that empathy, you know, like knowing how it feels, helped me a lot to go through that process and to be okay with having to study every day for long hours. So now I'm gonna talk about resources because I feel like that's really important part of this video. For me, I went against the current a little bit, comparing, you know, to my classmates and to other most people. That I did not use Boards and Beyond. I was going to class in person. I'm gonna make another video all about that, but I was going to class in person. I was using Amboss a lot throughout my class prep, but then I started UWorld like in October. It wasn't that early, but it wasn't super late. So I started in October with like 10 or 20 questions, something like that, something very easy. And I didn't finish UWorld. I'm gonna say this, I didn't finish UWorld, and this is a resource that everybody finishes. I just didn't have time, but it was my #1 resource in terms of question banks for the step. So I was doing UWorld every day, and my plan was to do half UWorld, half Amboss questions every day, but that didn't happen. And since I was like running out of time to finish the UWorld Q bank, I just did UWorld throughout dedicated, because those were what people said were the most similar. And I was of course doing the MBME practice exams, the UWorld practice exams, and I also did like 2 real practice exams. So that's my the first resource, UWorld. The second resource for me was Step Bootcamp, and I did I mentioned this resource before. It was really good with neuro, with cardio, with psych. They have really good videos, quick, you know, very high yield material that you can just look at that and it's not gonna take you the whole day. You just get the concept and keep going. Another one, Médicos Profesionales. That channel I love, is free in YouTube. Look it up, do it. He has some courses that you could pay for apart from what he has in YouTube, but at least I have gotten 2 of his courses. They're really good. But the content that he has in YouTube for free is amazing. And for Pulm, he's amazing. He has a pulmonology playlist that he makes you laugh a lot. So Médicos Profesionales is a must. Another one is Raul Damania. So I was using this one for the first time, starting in like October, November, something like that. And I started watching his high yield videos. So these videos are 1 hour long, but they cover the most important things of, let's say, cardio, but then he integrates some of that cardio in other things. So you're learning about the micro, you're learning about farm of that cardio. So you're not only learning one topic, but various topics into that main topic. So I think it might be like complicated to understand what I'm saying, but if you go and check one of his videos, they're free in YouTube. He does have some courses you could pay for. I didn't pay for them because I just didn't have time, but his free videos are amazing. So he's a must, and he saves you so much time because he's only teaching you what they're going to, you know, ask in this step. So they're very step one directed content. They're only teaching you what you need, and the same happens for step one. And Médicos Profesionales is more general, but for foundation or for knowing one topic and you watch that 10-minute video, is amazing. Another one is Dirty Medicine. Dirty Medicine saved my life with biochemistry. That's a YouTube channel. I mentioned it in one of my previous videos. He's really good at his mnemonics, biochem. I own all of my biochem to him, and another for psychiatry, for all of the disorders. He's really good as well. So those are my 5: Médicos Profesionales, UWorld for questions, Raul Damania, or High Guru, that's his name, for very high yield videos that get me going. Those were the videos that I watch first thing when I wake up, get me started, and then start questions. Bootcamp, step 1 bootcamp, and Dirty Medicine. Okay, so those are my five gold stars. And yeah, like I said, I used 5 because if I use too little, I get bored, and if I use too much, you get overwhelmed. So you kind of have to build the balance on the stuff that is worth your time the most out of everything that we have. And 3 out of these are free, guys. So it's amazing, you know. Ambas I used when I couldn't find the information anywhere else. I used their articles a lot. And I wanted to just finish up this video talking about preparation for step 1 day. So it's about like the psychic part of step 1. You are going to be worried even if you're at your 80% of preparedness, because that's how we feel. That's at least how I felt. It was like I'm prepared to my 80 percentile, but I did my 100 percentile in order to get there. So I did everything that I could. If you do everything that I could, that's what you need to like keep your mind focused on, and not about the things that you don't know. And just prepare for that day to be uncomfortable. I don't know exactly how to prepare to be uncomfortable. Just knowing inside that you might be placed in a chair that is not as comfortable, that you might be cold, and you gotta learn how to ignore the outside things and focus on the test. If someone opens a door, they're talking outside, you have to like train your brain to focus in only one thing, so that those things are not gonna bother you too much during test day. And thank God that everything during my test day went smoothly. Everyone was super nice at the testing center, and they got me in and out really quick during the breaks. I took every single break. I think I was taking 5 to 7 minutes in between each session, and then for lunch I took like 15 minutes. But everything went super good outside, you know, but there was some, you know, of the normal, like opening of the doors, a little bit of talking, a little bit like once they were going to sit, and those things you gotta learn how to ignore. I used some plugs, and they give you the headphones, but those are not really noise canceling, so you might use those if you want to. I didn't use those much. I would just put the plugs here, and I use also blue light glasses to block the lighting, and those usually help me with headaches, so to prevent you from getting headaches during those 7 hours. But apart from that, just know that you are gonna get a little tired. Get the foods that are going to give you more energy. Don't eat too much in the test day, because you know a lot of glucose could give you like a sleeping mode, so don't eat like your normal portion that you usually eat for lunch. I basically had a sandwich for like 3 to 4 bites, and I quickly entered again. Wash your face because that helps a lot. It helped me. In between, during each break, I will go to the restroom, empty my bladder, wash my face with cold water, relax a little bit, do a little bit of deep breathing, eat whatever I was gonna eat, and then go back in. That's just how it needs to be done, because you don't really have much time. The break times passed for me like this. I got out, and before I know it, it was already 5 minutes and I had to go in again. So just use them wisely. Prepare to be uncomfortable. You are going to be uncomfortable, and if you prepare to be uncomfortable, then you know what's coming, and it doesn't affect you too much once that happens. And yeah, guys, that's everything I got today. As of now, I'm just doing outpatient clinicals. I have a PEDS preceptor, OBGYN preceptor, and an internal medicine or family medicine preceptor that I go to every week. And apart from that, I've been just exploring different specialties. The other day I went to neuro, and another day I went to rheum, and I kind of want to, you know, keep exploring and keep shadowing those doctors that I admire. And that's it. I'll let you guys know next time how it's going, like the practice. But until now, it's all about just it feels good because you can just study based on the patient that you saw that day. And I go home, I get a more relaxed lifestyle. I've been going out a little bit more, relaxing, so it's a good time for me. But yeah, right now I'm more relaxed, but I know the hard times are coming for me once July starts. I think I start like July 4th or something in OB inpatient, and that's a hard one. Then I have other things going on, and I am looking forward to internal medicine rotation. But then after that I have surgery, which is, I know that's gonna be hard. So I'll let you guys know how my whole third year develops. And yeah, just subscribe, leave me a comment, and I'll see you in the next one.